Hi guys, Deanne here from Canada Abroad, and thanks so much for tuning in. Today we are bringing you a very important update. It is going to drastically change some immigration programs, especially express entry for certain applicants. Now this is going to be a bit of a longer video, so I have added chapters below. So at any point, if you want to skip a section because it's not relevant to you, you can just go ahead and check out the chapters below. So the changes we're going to be talking about today is the new NOC codes. So if you haven't heard about this, we found out last year that they had updated the NOC codes from 2016 to 2021. But even though they had posted the new NOC codes, they weren't going to be using them yet. Now, the big thing here is NOC codes are very important for many different immigration programs, such as federal skilled worker, federal skilled trades, the Canadian experience class. So with the previous NOC classifications, we had O, A, B, C, and D. So there was 5 different classifications. With NOC 2021, they're actually implementing now what's called a TEER system, and there's going to be 6 different levels. So there is one category where some B-level occupations were going to be downgraded and some C-level occupations are going to be upgraded. So we're going to be talking about how these are going to impact the different immigration programs, which occupations are no longer going to be considered skilled. So anybody who is working in one of those occupations, they wouldn't be eligible to use that work experience for federal skilled worker, Canadian experience class, and some other programs. And then we're also going to talk about some of the lower level positions that were previously unskilled, which have now been promoted to skilled. So quite a few different things that we're going to go through. So let's first start out with the most important thing is, when is this going to be implemented? So even though we knew about this last year and you're able to actually look up your NOC code and what tier level it is, IRCC has not been using it yet. So now they have officially said that they are going to be implementing this in November of 2022. So they're going to be putting out the instructions in November about using these finally for the different programs. Now, I got this information from an access to information request that I did in April. They finally sent it through today. It's 10 pages long. 2 of them were completely redacted, so missing the information. But we're going to go through all of the information that they did send through to us and how it's going to apply to you. So the first program that we're going to talk about, because it's the one that everyone has been asking us about, is how is this going to impact express entry programs? So the one thing we didn't exactly know was what was going to be the cutoff. Right now, anybody who works in an occupation which is O, A, or B, that is skilled, and we know that it qualifies for Canadian experience class federal skilled workers. But with the tier system, because there is 6 levels, we weren't sure what was going to be considered skilled and what was not going to be considered skilled. So they have now confirmed that the cutoff is going to be tier 3. So tier 3 and higher is going to be considered skilled. So it's going to be tier 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 are the unskilled and won't be eligible. So this is going to be important because you can go look up your occupation codes now and actually see what tier they're at. And with this, some people are really going to have to look at if they have some of the experience which is being downgraded, they might lose points or become ineligible in November for certain programs. So if you're not sure if it's going to affect you or you want to discuss it, you can always book a consultation with myself or one of my colleagues, and we can go through basically your options or how this is going to affect you and your application. Now, they have very specifically listed which occupations are now no longer going to be eligible. So this is extremely important. So other performers, program leaders and instructors in recreation, sport and fitness, and tailors, dressmakers, furriers, and milliners. These 3 occupations will remain eligible for other broader occupations like maybe PNPs, but they're not going to be eligible anymore at that B level for federal skilled worker or Canadian experience class. Now there's 16 occupations which were not previously considered skilled for express entry, which now are going to be considered skilled. So this includes, and I'm going to read the list for you, payroll administrators, dental assistants and dental laboratory assistants, nurse aide, orderlies, and patient service associates, pharmacy technical assistants and pharmacy assistants, elementary and secondary school assistants, sheriffs and bailiffs, correctional service officers, bylaw enforcement and other regulatory officers, estheticians, electrologists, and related occupations, residential and commercial installers and servicers, pest controllers and fumigators, other repairs and services, transport truck drivers, that's gonna be a big one, bus drivers, subway operators, and other transit operators, heavy equipment operators, and aircraft assemblers and aircraft assembly instructors. So those individuals now with that work experience, as of November 2022, their occupation is going to move up and will be considered for those programs. So this is, the big list. It's going to be mostly applicable for federal skilled workers, Canadian experience class, and then, certain provincial nominee programs or certain work permit or labor market impact assessments. Now, the next program that they have specifically outlined in the notes that they provided us with is the Atlantic Immigration Program. So at present, the Atlantic Immigration Program allows occupations level C or above. So with the NOC 2021, this is going to become tier level 4 and above, okay? So this means that there's going to be 12 occupations which are no longer going to be eligible under the program. And that's going to be pet groomers and care workers, other support occupations and personal services, longshore workers, material handlers, taxi and limousine drivers and chauffeurs, delivery service drivers, door-to-door distributors, boat and cable ferry operators and related occupations, livestock laborers, nursery and greenhouse laborers, trappers and hunters, food and beverage servers, and laborers in textile and processing and cutting. But they'll still be, they say in this note, the way they word it is they will remain eligible for programs with broader occupational eligibility criteria such as provincial nominee programs. Now, the last program, and this is actually why we requested or knew to request this memorandum, was it was titled National Occupational Classification 2021 and the Federal Skilled Trades Program. Because with the trades program, there's only certain occupations under NOC 2016 that are targeted. So they need to provide more detail about which new NOC codes specifically are going to be eligible for the Federal Skilled Trades Program. Now, the problem is these are the pages that they redacted quite heavily. So basically it says, it just outlines, what the Federal Skilled Trade Program is for anybody reading the memo who doesn't know, which occupations are currently classified. Then it redacts over a full page, and then it says the department will confirm its approach upon approval of this memo and will engage provinces and territories as necessary over the coming months to ensure a successful implementation in November. So they've completely redacted what they're going to be doing, which usually means there's going to be some significant changes. They redact it for certain reasons. They say they need to keep it confidential and not disclose it to the public. And then basically, I love this other note that they put is media interest and coverage of NOC is quite limited. It will maybe garner some attention given the changes, but it's routine and quite technical, so they don't think coverage will be very high. Well, you guys know as well as I do that this is extremely important for anybody wanting to immigrate to Canada. So maybe not for the media themselves, but for you guys watching, these changes are extremely important because some of you now might not be eligible for an immigration program that you were expecting to be and that you currently are. And then maybe some of you, luckily, who were not eligible previously are going to have eligible work experience come November. So that's a big change as well. And then basically they just make the recommendation that whoever is in charge to basically sign off the memo and approve the recommendations. But unfortunately, we don't know what those recommendations are. And that's just for the Federal Skilled Trades Program. They have noted in here that they typically only give out 1,000 invitations to apply through that program on a good year. They haven't done any specific draws for federal skilled tradespeople in quite some time. Usually what we've seen during the pandemic is they're usually ending up going through the provincial programs because they're at least getting selected through those programs. So quite a bit of information to digest, but so the main takeaways here are that the changes are coming in November of 2022. So, if you're in the system right now and you are affected by these changes, your profile is not going to become ineligible, or you're not going to lose points until November. And then the second thing to note is you need to check your profile and what points you're getting for work experience, and if you're going to be losing any of those points because your occupations are being downgraded, or if you weren't eligible for express entry before, but now you see that your occupation is going to become skilled in November, you might want to start planning and seeing what documents you need to get together to get into the express entry system so that you can be considered for those draws after November. Now, as we know, draws for federal skilled workers are supposed to resume in July. And we are going to be releasing a video, hopefully tomorrow, might be the day after, just outlining the other proposed changes that were mentioned in the budget last year and when we might expect those to be implemented, because it's basically the changes that are going to allow the immigration minister to pick people based on specific NOC codes and other criteria such as their language abilities in addition to their comprehensive ranking system scores. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with all of the latest Canadian immigration news and updates, and we'll bring you any updated information as we receive it.